We have the balance here, freedom for Gerrard to attack and get into the box, and obviously the runs of Torres behind defenders, that was a big threat. I am Rafa Benítez, and I would like to talk about a little bit tactics or the formation that 4-2-3-1 that I used to use in my teams. You have to change depending on the teams, but the main thing is you have an idea, you have a formation, and after is how you move your players around, how you adapt the system depending on your team or the other team. So in this case, a 4-2-3-1, unlike any system, I will not talk about the keeper because some people say, oh, you have to talk about the keeper too. He's always there. You can play a low block, middle, or higher. So if you come here, obviously you go higher, then you can go more or less like that, or you can go higher if you want to press. Now that teams, they are playing from the back, then you can go a little bit higher and be more aggressive in your pressing. So then it's nearly a 4-4-2. So, but if you go to 3/4, more or less is what I like to do. Okay? This is not a rigid formation. So the two holding midfielders are really important to protect the center backs. But at the same time, always I like one of them. If we go to Valencia, Baraja, Albelda, one of them has to be more offensive and one of them has to keep the position. So if you do that, imagine that you do that and you have Aymar or you have Mista here, not that I used to play like that. And if you move Baraja here, it's not two holding midfielders. At the end of the day, you have just one, and then you can play, depending on the position, it's like a 4-3-3 if you want. You have Vicente here, Rufete or Angulo this side, or Kili. So then you are talking about a team that is playing in attack, like a 4-3-3 formation, and in defense, then you go back, and then you have this situation. Then how do you press against these center backs? If they move the ball and you like to press against a full back or the other full back. So one way to do it is to come with the striker and to come with the second striker, and obviously everybody shuffle. Then you come like that. I will put the strikers here, okay? So you come like that. But the other way is you wait in a 4-4-2 formation, and when they move the ball here, then this one is closing the back pass, and this one is coming against the holding midfielder. So you can do it deeper, you can do it in the middle or higher. Now with teams playing from the back, a lot of teams, they come here, and at the end of the day, what happens? So you play 4 against 4. So they come here, they play short, and after they play long, and then you play 4 against 4. So a lot of teams, they are doing that at the moment, and for me, and especially if you want to do a proper pressing, you have to wait. You have to wait and then look for this pass. Normally this pass or this pass, no? Then if they drop off a midfielder, it's fine, they lose players. If they play between the lines, you have to be aggressive here. But the main thing is wait for this pass, that is the trigger, and then you come one way or another way, and then you come to press, and you have to shuffle. Then when you have that, people can see sometimes, oh, it's defensive. It's not defensive, it's well organized. So the balance is the key. If you want to win games, if you want to win trophies, the balance is the key. So balance when you are attacking or balance when you are defending. So what I said before at the beginning is it doesn't matter the system. The system could be a 4-4-2 or could be a 4-4-2. And it's a big difference. It's the same system with a massive gap in the middle. 4-2-3-1 gives you the possibility to commit the center backs and at the same time to work against the holding midfielder. But the key role of every single player is crucial, because if you don't have these players covering, so if you come to press here, you come to press here, you have a striker here and a player between the lines, and they come to press here, so this player will be free. So if he's running, they have to follow, and this player will be free. If you don't adjust this position, if you adjust too much, you have a big gap here. So this player has to be inside. If this player is wide, that is very common, then there's a big gap here. If this player is waiting, this player is free. So then they link with this player, and then it's when you have problems. For example, in Valencia, we used to play 4-2-3-1, no, that I said before. But when you are in a top side, Napoli, for example, we were playing also 4-2-3-1. So we have Higuaín, we have Insigne, we have Mertens, we have Callejon, we brought Albiol, Jorginho was the one that has to pass the ball. So different kind of players. If you have time, 2 or 3 years, you can choose the right players, the characteristics of the players. If you have money, you can choose the names that you want, but if you don't have money, so you have to choose the characteristics of the players to play the way that you want to play. So defending, everybody has to work together. It's nearly 4-4-2, and if you want to do what I said before, you have to press like that. And attacking is really important to commit these center backs. This player has to be in between to get into the box. He has to go against the fullback. He has to go against the fullback. So it's really important to be sure that you go here to situations 1v1 or overlaps all the time. Then keep the players busy. When you go to the wide areas and if you dribble it, then he has to attack the near post. You have to follow him. He has to go in the middle. He has to go to the back post. And one of the midfielders, the offensive midfielder, in our case, Baraja, when we won the league, he was getting into the box late. So that is difficult to control for the midfielders. So these runs, late runs. So, but in reality, you have one striker, but you have a second striker coming, the winger in the other side, and a midfielder. And then, again, I will go to the key word, balance. You need to control here. Obviously, they will be defending. Then you have to be sure that you keep the balance. So when you see a team well organized here, it's more difficult for them to play counter-attack. Then the key is to be sure that these players are aware what is going on, and then you can regain the second ball and sustain the attack. If you see Manchester City, if you see Liverpool now, what they have is they are always high, but they keep the balance. It's not easy to have a counter-attack against them because they press as soon as they give the ball away. They press and they're quite aggressive. My time with Valencia was like that. The team was very aggressive, and we could play counter-attack, we could press, we could change, rotate players, and still everybody knew what they had to do. But we did it with Napoli. And when we play, for example, Newcastle United, some people has the idea that we were playing 5-4-1, and it's not true. Because in the championship, we play with Gale and Diame behind, so we're playing 4-2-3-1, sometimes 4-4-2. But in the championship, and after the first year, we were playing 4-2-3-1. So depending on the players, you are more offensive or less offensive. And some games when we were better than the other teams, we were playing with 3 at the back, with wing backs, and it was a 3-4-3. Then you have Rondon, you have Almiron, and you have Ayoce, and with Richie. So we were quite offensive and quite aggressive with people in the wide areas, with the midfielder Shelby and Hayden, for example, and then we were high on the pitch. So depending on the teams, you manage. If we go to my time at Liverpool, some people, they remember the names of some key players, but not from the beginning until the end of my time at Liverpool. So one of the key decisions in Liverpool was when we signed Torres. When we signed Torres, we moved Gerrard behind Torres because we could sign Mascherano or Lucas Leiva or Alonso Mascherano or Alonso Lucas Leiva. So we have the balance here, freedom for Gerrard to attack and get into the box, and obviously the runs of Torres behind defenders, that was a big threat. So we have Kaut that was always working hard, and then changing wingers depending on the year. But the main thing was freedom for Gerrard behind the striker, Torres up front that he could run behind defenders and he was a threat, and 2 midfielders that they could pass the ball like Alonso, or they could regain the ball like Mascherano or Lucas Leiva. We signed Lucas Leiva when he was 19 years old and he was 10 years in Liverpool. So these players, they were giving you balance, and after you have Fabio, you have even Arbeloa, so Glenn Johnson, players that they could go forward, and we were always a threat. At the beginning was Carragher and Hipia, but later on we have Skrtel also and Ager, that Ager was quite good on the ball and he was coming forward. So keyword, balance. Keep the team well organized, be sure that you can attack, be sure that you can press when you give the ball away, or be sure that you can go back and stay organized and wait for your trigger. That could be these kind of passes. If we talk about Valencia, so key players, Albelda, Baraja, a holding midfielder, and an offensive midfielder, very good getting to the box. We have Aymar here and Mista, or Kerio and Mista, and here Kili, Vicente, Rufete and Gulo. They were really good going forward. Curro was good overlapping, really good going forward. 1v1, Vicente was playing for Brighton. He was amazing at this time. He was a young player, and he was pushing Kili Gonzalez. And here we have Carboni. Carboni was playing when he was 41 the last year. So he was 37 when I signed it, and he was going forward and forward all the time. And after Fabio Aurelio, that I brought him here to Liverpool, quality, massive quality, left foot, it was amazing. So you have quality here, you have energy. We brought Sissoko later on, and then he came to Liverpool also, energy in the middle. And here you have Ayala, very strong, very aggressive, and Pellegrino or Marchena, any of them, and Jukic, that he could play the ball. So it was a very balanced thing with Cañizares and Palop, two keepers with experience, and then players that they could give information to the defenders. So the team was capable to play deep, was capable to press really high, was capable to play in the middle, and you could change players and still you could win games. So I remember games changing 7 players, and then still we were winning. And our teams, they used to be much better in the second part of the season, because little by little, the players, they were learning what they have to do, and then the understanding between them was much better. And the other teams, they have up and downs, and we could sustain or keep the level high. One of the things that I like to do is to coach the players, and when I say to coach the players, is to make them think. They need to understand these tactics, so we could do the same interview as a training session for my players. I could be talking about the same thing. So what you have to do, when you have to press, what you have to do if he goes to press. So if he comes to press here, you have to cover because he will try to play with this player. Then this player or this player between the lines, you have to cover, you have to cover. So how high you cover? So there are teams, or they were coaches that they like to play when they go to press here with a line of 3. In Italy, it was a time that they were defending with this player higher. And for me, I like to do like that. So just to be sure that we protect each other and we have always one player covering. So that is something that I like to do. And I explain to my players why. So then they know exactly. And then if they make mistakes, at least they know, okay, I made this mistake because I have to do this or I have to do that. So this Valencia team was quite strong, balanced, and the rotation, the use of all the squad was a key factor at the end, the 2 titles, the 2 league titles and the Europa League, or the UEFA Cup at this time. Around 80% of our work is with the ball in the training sessions, 20% without the ball. 70% is something that we will do always, and 30% depending on the other team. So we know exactly which is our game plan, and depending on the other team, we adjust things to be sure that we exploit the weaknesses of the other team or we exploit our strengths. So if you play against Barcelona with a 4-3-3, at the beginning when I was a young coach, they were playing 3. So Barcelona was playing with a diamond and 3 at the back, doing man-to-man. Koeman was the centre-back. So they used to play like that. And then you have to be aware of these runs of Vaquero at this time. No? So then later on, with Rijkaard, they start playing 4-3-3. With this formation, then, so you have a problem. Who will defend this holding midfielder? They have a problem because they have to defend your midfielders anyway. So if they keep the ball, so normally you will be, with these players, they will be pairs, and this player is free. So you drop off one of your strikers, and then he has to be there, or you drop off both, and then you have the control of this space. So it depends on how important is this player for them. So if you do that like that, then you will press here, and then you will come like that. So the same trigger will be this pass, and you will be in this position. The movements, the rest of the movements are similar. You have to control the space, and you have to keep your balance. No, that is the main thing. If you are stronger than the other team, so you have more possession, more control, then normally you will put your wingers really high. Your striker will be here. You try to leave these players between the lines. If they play with three, to go to these pockets, try to go there. And always, for me, it's one of the midfielders trying to go forward. So they have to follow, and the other one stay here. And they have to decide. Imagine that they play 4-3-3. They have to decide if he comes to press here. So that means a space here or a space here. So then it's a problem. If it's a space here and they follow, fullback overlapping, and then going forward. If he stays here, it's free. If you come here, so the same problem for him. If he follows, or if he follows. If he follows, run in behind. If he stays, this is a problem. If they go, then they have to control that. So depending on your team, you can be higher. No, what I say, we are better than the other team, we go higher, and they have to drop off. They have to defend. If they don't defend, so you will find these spaces, pockets, then with your second striker going to these spaces. If you drop off your striker, then it's a space for your second striker to run. If they follow, it's also a space for your winger to go inside. No? You can see a lot of goals now with wingers coming inside. The systems, the position of the players is fine, is necessary and important at the beginning, but after, it depends how you move your players. And one of the things that we have is experience. Then depending on what is going on, you see, I'm taking my notes all the time, so you analyze what is going on, and then you make decisions, changing players or changing positions, or if you want to attack more for this side or the other side, or more long balls or second balls, or maybe just link and then play counter-attack. So all these kind of things during the game are the difficult decisions. So the experience of the manager, the experience of your staff, that they give you advice or they can see from the stands, are crucial if you want to adjust things. No? Final Istanbul 2005, we changed to 3 at the back because we couldn't control Kaká. So imagine that we are here. So they have 2 strikers, and after Kaká was here. So they were playing 4-3-1-2. Then we didn't have control of this player, and then we changed to 3 at the back to have control of these 2 strikers, and then we put 2 midfielders to have the control of this space, especially with Didi Hamann. So that is one of the important things as a manager, as a coach, just to realize what is going on during the game and adjust. It's not just one system, it's how you move your players during the game.